KT stunner, I was born to drive the 4Runner. Yeah, drive me a train, watch your boy swoop lane to lane in the coupe. Drive, excuse me for dropping my top. Drop my top on a Porsche. High school I used to play sports, then I got fat and lazy. Luckily my pockets did too. Go and get his house with the snipers on the roof. I can do the most. Watch your boy bark.
What's up, guys? So this is what we have going on. I sold the Husky about a week ago. I didn't plan on it. I did the International Supermoto Day ride that we hosted here in Dallas, and one of the guys there, I'd offered to sell my bike to before, told him that I was going to post it, and it had been like almost 6 or 7 months since I talked to him. But I told him I was interested in selling the bike. I just wanted to get a little bit more done on it before I sold it to somebody, because I don't like scumbagging people. So, but one of his friends wanted to buy it, so we talked out a deal, and I ended up selling it the day of the ride, like after we got done riding, came back home, and he came and picked it up later that night. So I ended up picking up this KX the following weekend. It's a 2012 KX450, and I went and looked at it, and you know, I fucked up in some areas. I went real late at night to pick it up because I was trying to get it before Saturday, so I went and got it late Friday night. I looked over it, and it was a little rough. I don't have any of the plastics on to show you. And when I got it back, I started going over the motor, and I realized the idle was cranked on it, which I should have fucking caught. And I started turning down the idle. It kicked over fine. I didn't have any trouble getting it started. But once I turned down the idle, I heard like a knocking noise, which I'm not sure is normal for these bikes. It may just be the way it is. But I went ahead and tore down the head, and for sure the head gasket was blown. I've got the crank exposed right here. So the bottom crank bearing seems to be fine. I don't feel any movement at all up and down. A little bit side to side play, which is normal for any crank. Just a little bit, it's not even very much. But listen to this. I'm not sure if that is normal. That would be the main crank bearings if it's not normal. I can hear just a little bit. I'll try and get the phone closer so you can hear. So, since I've never actually done a full top or bottom end rebuild on a bike, I've done valve clearances and all that, and also, yeah, I checked the valves and they were good. But I'm about to dump this oil out into a clear container and see if I can see any metal flakes and feel metal flakes in there, because that would signify that the bottom end is bad to me. It's got 94 hours on the hour meter. I don't know if that's fucking accurate. When I tore down the head, everything looked stock though. Here's a head right here. Valves don't look too bad, a little dirty. Might clean up the bottom of those a little. Valves are all in spec, right in the middle of the spec range, so I think it really is a 100-hour motor, or it's been fairly well maintained till the guy I bought it from. I think he was the second owner. He claimed to be the first, but I think he was bullshitting me. Here's the piston. I didn't really look at the piston too close, but there is some marring on the side there. That's another reason why I think the bottom end bearing might be bad. And then the jug is in here. So the jug also has a little bit of scoring right there, you can see. It's not real deep, so it can definitely be reused. It'll have to be, what is the technique called? Can't think of what it's called, but when they like basically polish the inside and then abrase it to give you the rings back, because definitely looks pretty smooth in there other than the edges. But I didn't feel any real rough spots, so I think I'll be good there. Actually, let me feel on here. I don't know, I gotta do some research. I don't know if this has like a Nickel type coating in it, I can't remember if Cowie ever did that on theirs or if they do it now. It's a 2012, so I'll have to research into it. But there's no major pitting or dings that I can see. There's something there, but I think it's just a speck of dust. Yeah. So, yeah, the cross hatching. I can see some of the cross hatching, but on those sides right there, definitely needs to be resurfaced. I'll get into that later. So anyways, I'm about to dump the oil. I'm going to try and keep videos up on my progress on this because I'm going to do a how to build a supermoto from scratch video. Now, this bike will never be a daily ridden bike. It's an MX bike. It's not a trail bike. Has no lighting whatsoever from the factory. It's a full race bike. But I'm only going to ride this thing on the weekends and make sure I maintain it well. So I'm going to try and do my whole conversion process. I'm tight on money right now, so I'll probably run Sportsman for temporary on the street. And then once I can get the supermoto wheels, I'll put knobbies like it has back on it. But I'll probably do the Sportsman or 50/50 dot legal tires on it for temporary. But we'll see. But I'll try and document everything that I'm going to do. So since this bike doesn't have a lighting coil, and I really don't want to hack into the factory harness, I'm just going to do a total loss setup on it, which is just a small battery powered headlight and taillight. That's all I need in Texas to be legal. And the horn, I'll need a horn, but I'm not going to power it from the battery. I'm just going to get, like they sell bike horns that are battery powered. I'll just buy one of those. And then of course a mirror. So all I need in Texas for this bike to be legal is a headlight with high and low beam, a taillight with running and brake light, a mirror, and a horn. And I can get it street legal and registered. Some states are more strict. Texas is pretty lenient on it, and I have the title for it, so I'll have to get transferred to an on-road title, obviously. But let's pull this oil, and I'll be back with you guys. Alright guys, so I have drained the oil from the KX. I would normally put it in these bottles, but I wanted something clear to kind of just look at it. I'm also going to have to feel it. So good news is I don't see any metal flakes that have like settled down in the bottom or anything. It looks pretty good, so that's a good sign. But I'm also gonna have to pour it on my hand and feel it and see if I feel any metal flakes that aren't visible. This was like the end of the oil, so I think it'd be smarter to do this bottle since that one is the one that I started with. So this will basically tell me, I'm going to do one other check, which is I'm going to also, I'm going to pull the flywheel side cover and feel if there's massive bearing play there, and that should also tell me. But the problem also is the guy had just put oil in it. When I came to look at it, the oil was completely clear. I ran it enough to brown the oil, but just barely. I've maybe ran it a total of 15-20 minutes, if that. I don't even think it was that long, but hopefully that was enough. I mean, if there was massive like signs of the bearings failing, there should be a good amount of metal flakes in this oil, so even with it only running a short amount of time. So I'm going to go ahead, I've cleaned off the top of my drain pan here, make sure there's no residual shavings from other bikes or anything else that I've poured in here. I'm going to pour this out slowly, and every couple seconds just stop and look through the oil and see if I can see any metal flakes, which right now it's looking pretty damn good, like there's not any. But the metal would also probably settle more towards the bottom, but looking at the bottom of the bottle, I didn't see any. Alright, got something there. Pull that off and look. You're always probably going to have a little bit of metal flakes in your oil just from the transmission, especially unless you have like a bike that's got a separate transmission and a separate like crank bearing. Like CRFs I know have separate transmission oil from the engine, so those you actually drain from both sides, but the KX is just use the oil for everywhere. So I am seeing some flakes in this oil now, but it might just be dust. This is hard to tell. Turn on my light here. Okay, well, I don't know. I am seeing some metal flakes in this. There's a pretty big piece right there. Let's pull that off to the side. That, I think, is from the drain bolt, though, because the drain bolt washer was kind of crushed. So there is definitely some metal flakes in this. I was wrong. I thought there wouldn't be, or at least not this amount. Let's go and pour some more and kind of get an idea of how much is mixed in with this. The problem is, though, too, these could just be from the head. So this isn't a definite way to tell. I mean, if they're pretty sizable chunks, I'd say pretty good guess that it is from the rod bearings. Also copper more than the silver metal. Okay, so there's another pretty big chunk back there. So, I mean, there's some pieces throughout here, but I guess I'm just gonna have to pull the flywheel cover and see how it feels. I'm not sure if that's from the main bearing or not at this point. This is what I hate about buying secondhand bikes, because the guys add, you know, the bike looked really clean and everything. When I went and looked, it obviously wasn't as clean as it was in the ads pictures. But I kind of looked it over and nothing looked like super beat on it. The plastics were kind of rough, but you know, this bike was an MX bike, so what do you expect? It wasn't, it didn't have like numbers or anything, so I don't think it was actually motocrossed on a circuit, but I'm sure it was ridden pretty hard on weekends and stuff. So the main question now is we need to get that flywheel cover off and shake it around and see if the bearings on the crank sound bad. So I'm going to stop the camera and pull that. I'll probably do actual, like when I rebuild the bike, I'll go ahead and take actual video of us rebuilding it. Whether I have to split the cases and do bottom end and top end, but I'll at least be doing a top end on it, which is already off, obviously. So I'll take video of that. I'm not going to do any video of me disassembling it today. But, alright, let's get that going, and I'll start the video back up once I get the flywheel cover off. Alright, so I've got the stator flywheel side, whatever you want to call it. Stator looks good. No damage. But, look good here, and then now what I'm checking for is play in the flywheel, which I was playing with it already. I've checked it over, and it looks like it's good and solid. So there's just a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that's just fucking normal. It's not excessive, and I really have to kind of yank. I'm pretty sure that even a brand new bottom end would do the same fucking thing. So I'm going to chalk it up to the bottom end is fine. I didn't see any excessive metal shavings in the oil in this area. I could pull the clutch side again. I did it once, but I had it tipped on its side, but I could pull the clutch side again and look on that side too. But I'm pretty confident the bottom end is okay.